Hey everybody, welcome to Office Hours with Arbitrage. I think this is episode 10, season 2. We're rocking and rolling here, making our way through time. I got Suraj today. He put out a Medium article that we're going to talk about. He's also got 2 models in the pretty decent rank, so we're going to talk to him about that, see if he can give us some tips. NJ's in the house, Mike Oliver's in the house. Got our regulars, Joe, Rudy, Kino, JRAI up in the corner there. Thanks for joining. I like your NASA shirt, by the way. It's pretty dope. I gotta get a meatball. I like the meatball logo. That's my favorite one. Let me open chat. Oh, geez, I can't see anything because my camera's in the way. Crap. Oh, I got it. I gotta move my camera someday. Oh, Carlo's on next week, so I guess this is his way to spy on the process. It's cool. I'd probably do the same thing. And we're waiting on Suraj. Suraj decided to take 5 right when we went live. So, what's new in your world?
Testing my audio. I have a new computer. Can you hear me?
Thanks, Wiggle Muse Andy. Yes, you are loud and clear, my friend. I can't quite make out Kino's background because he's right behind my camera.
He's got some yams.
Oh, yams. Oh, I see it now. I have to like bend around and see it.
That's jam, you know.
It's like, I hold all the yams in my hand. I hold all the yams in my hands.
Jesus, what a bad project that was. But like, you know, it's like, I only lost like $10 in gas or something. So it's not that bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad.
In 24 hours, it went from like, I don't know, like 400 million to 0 million.
Ooh. Well,
I'm back.
That's the dip. Buy the dip, right? No, don't do buy the dip.
No, it just does not work anymore. Like, it's just like the project imploded. Like, you know, the contract was like, I mean, it's very interesting if you get into that. But like, you know.
I really haven't had a chance to look at all that stuff. I've been.
Yeah, whenever you can check out. But yeah,
I'm very curious in this whole thing. I've been reading all the stuff on Twitter about DeFi. It's very interesting. But let's not forget, Numerai is the original DeFi.
Yeah, no, this is more like yield farming, so it's more like more degenerate, you know.
Degen, yeah.
I did not understand anything about Yam. I tried to read it, and I was like, "What? I don't understand what is going on here."
It's musical chairs with tokens. That's, you know.
I like it. I like it.
That's like.
And was it?
And I guess the music stopped, and no one had a chair.
You know, hey.
No, they like, you know, the equivalent would be like, you know, they somehow like allow like for people to make one chair, just one chair, you know. There's no more than one chair, so like people can sit anywhere. So people are like, well, this doesn't make sense anymore.
Well, guess what? Our special guest is back from his perfectly timed break.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna dive right in and ask you some
Congratulations.
questions. Are you good to go, Suraj?
Yep.
All right. Hey, man, where do you live?
In the state of Gujarat in India.
And you were saying before we started recording, you got some power difficulties. There's a monsoon going on or something, right?
Yep. It's been raining for 3 days now.
So you don't normally look like a ghost. It's just because your lighting's horrendous, right?
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear because this is going to be recorded and, you know, eventually posted online, and you know, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt so that we had more context. Suraj, what do you do for a living?
I just completed my undergrad degree final exam, so I don't have a proper job for long term, but
Congratulations,
I'm working
my
on
friend.
something. Thank you. And I forgot to congratulate you too.
Oh, thank you.
I saw that
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Yeah, the admission to candidacy is just like
Yeah.
turning in a piece of paper, but the official status is yes, indeed. I am now a PhD candidate. It's pretty dope. I'm pretty excited about that. So thank you. But this isn't about me, Suraj. This is about you, my friend.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Suraj, you just finished your undergraduate degree? I understand, but you do more than just study and take tests. So, how would you describe what you do other than school?
I train models.
Oh, careful, Suraj.
Sorry.
It's going to need a little bit more context, my friend.
Machine learning models.
Ah, there it is. Yes. Thank you.
I do
That's
Numerai.
very important context. Appreciate it. Great. So you train machine learning models and
I play cricket.
play cricket. Cool. All right. So that goes into kind of the next question is what do you do for fun?
It's like either a model is training, a machine learning model is training, or its biological counterpart, physically or mentally.
Okay.
And I have a beautiful garden in the backyard. So just to rest my eyes, I just spend some time there. And in India, it's never out of activities, 1 hour activities.
There's lots of room for activities in India.
Yep.
Okay, cool, man. I wish I could see the garden because it sounds pretty dope. Do you do
I'll send you
meditation in the
pictures.
garden?
Yeah, meditation in the room.
Okay, cool. Suraj, when did you start participating in the tournament?
I think it's about the round 114th
Okay.
when I was searching for something like machine learning with some challenging tournament, and then I found about Numerai, and it was
Okay.
like really cool thing. And my first prediction was just example scripts.
No, that's good. I mean,
And
it
that's
gives
how I
you
got
it
started.
lets you practice submitting, and it gives you a
Yeah.
pipeline kind of to modify and
And
use. Makes sense.
and I got 0.1 Numerai for verification.
Oh, I remember.
And
Yeah,
then
they were
I
airdropping
staked
feedback.
all of that. And then I got 0.4 on returns. So I was like 4 times return in a month. That's something dope. So this is something I should continue. And then I burned
Then you burned.
most of that.
I can relate to that,
No,
my
it
friend.
got burned. Mm-hmm.
I think Rudy can also relate to that. Kino can. Yeah, some of us have been around a while. I think I've probably burned as much as I've earned if I do a little back of the envelope math there. But Kazusugi has definitely changed things for the more stable future. So that's a good thing. Hey, I need a favor from you, Suraj. I'm gonna ask you like the 3 next questions because I left something in the other room that's really important, and I gotta step away for a second. Is that okay?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I asked you when you're going to start participating, but how did you find out about Numerai, and what do you wish you had known when you started out? Just take your time on that. Just give me a second, okay?
Yep.
Well, I guess I'm not technically in the other room. It's right here. I'll be right back. Go ahead, talk it up, my friend.
So I was searching for something like Kaggle where I can participate and like show off my skills. Then I found about Numerai. Like, yeah.
And what do you wish you had known when you started out?
Oh, yeah. I think there was a mistake I was doing even with Kaggle competitions was like validation things or documenting things. I was rarely documenting my experiments,
Mm-hmm.
and that is something I have learned very hard way.
Also, the tournament. A lot of people think the tournament's like really challenging. It's hard to stick with it, but you've stuck it out. So why do you think people think it's too hard to stick around and it's far too challenging for most folks?
I think it's like a bell-shaped initially when one is not serious about it. When they are submitting example predictions, it's easy, and then when the interest grows and they want to like do Numerai for crypto and fun, it gets like difficult because now you submitted one model and it's performed well in validation but may not perform well in live data, and maybe some cases your model performed well in like one model performed well. Now you want to experiment, but it's already in submitted. So now you want more models. So that's what creates what overwhelming things. Like it complicates the things. And then at the peak of that, you can either stick to it or like take some time, fix some things, clean up the code, and automate things, like automate your submission, and then it becomes easy.
Automate
So
it.
for me, like
Cheers, my friend.
that's
Brilliant.
what I'm trying to do over a few weeks.
I like
it's
it.
not about like
I like
it's about how efficiently you can simplify your code and submission pipeline.
So, Suraj, you wrote in your post, you used a lot of Python. Is that your programming language of choice? And why do you stick with Python?
Yeah. I think for data science and machine learning stuff, it's like a go-to language now because of the libraries support and ecosystem. Yeah. Because it's multi-purpose language.
Yeah.
Can be used anywhere.
Well, that's consistent with what like Mike P said about it, right? Because it lets you go from the idea all the way to the production model, even though it's not like the fastest language or maybe it's not the perfect tool. It still lets you do basically everything. I think it's pretty good too, and it's also, I think, an easier language to read, especially somebody that's not a computer scientist. So, Suraj, you wrote a good article in Medium. It was a great explanation, and like we need a lot of that kind of stuff because onboarding people is very difficult. But what are your top 3 tips for the tournament?
The first thing would be to test your knowledge, and knowledge is in the form of models, and that by creating a pipeline for validating your models locally or in submission in the live tournament. Second, that's the very first thing. Like get your validation pipeline ready, perfect, so you can quickly experiment and quickly compare between which model to use for which model.
Makes sense. So like have your candidate models with the same comparison tool, and then pick based on the metrics that you like.
Yep.
Okay.
And the second one would be like share your knowledge gathered from others. So the second thing would be to participate in RocketChat, interact with other participants, share your knowledge, exchange there, maybe read your interviews, maybe confirm.
Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence.
I have learned a lot from that.
Thank you.
And RocketChat and the community, and people are very helpful here.
I would say it's the sum of all of my friends here. I just help kind of fill in the gaps, but the knowledge base that's in this group is astounding. So I'm glad that you found the interviews and the write-ups helpful. I'm glad. Was that all 3, or did I? Oh, you do have one more. Good.
Yeah, and the third one is, as I said, document everything. That's like I recently started documenting everything.
No, that I agree. I'm guilty of that. I don't take good notes. I write a lot of ideas down, but then that my actual iteration and coming to the solution, I don't document that process because I'm too like in the flow and I just get going on it. I regret not taking better notes because I'm sure that along the process I've done something that right now could be helpful, but I don't remember it. But I do keep all my code, and that's something that I would recommend everybody does. Is if you use a notebook, there's no reason to delete any lines of code. Just push the cells down. Right? If you're not using it, push the cells down and just push it to the bottom and keep your used code snippets on the top. And so then if you break something, you can, have I done this before? You can scroll down and check it out. That's kind of related to what you said, though.
And I think that's what makes difficult. Like when you grow so many models, your code like very complex.
Yeah, it can get pretty complex, but if you write clean code, it helps a lot.
Depends on, yeah.
It helps a lot to write clean code and to document all the things. Right, Mike P? Yes. document all the things. So Suraj, here's a fun question I'd like to ask you. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
Like I haven't think about it. I don't have anything to show off, but I think something philosophical, something that inspire people and that makes them question.
Okay.
Something that helps them. For me, it's been Bhagavad Gita.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to either type that in chat or maybe say it slower. I apologize. I couldn't make that out.
Where is chat? I think.
NJ, you missed it.
I've been here the whole time, fam. I'm aware that my glasses reflect my screen when I'm doing other stuff.
Oh.
So I just sometimes hide myself.
Like you're a confidential informant thing last week. Yeah, right. Bhagavad Gita. So Suraj, I would say put your quote about Bhagavad Gita in chat so that we can immortalize it on your billboard in the next summary.
It's really?
Yeah, we'll put your billboard
it's like, I think
in the summary.
There is something related to the tournament too. The one was roughly explanation goes like one don't have any right on the results. One must be focused on performing their duties and karma. So in the next line it says one shouldn't be doing any karma based on the results. Neither should be lazy not doing their work. So I think this kind of resembles the tournament. So I would like to put in Sanskrit, this explanation. And in the end, I would, if Numerai permits, Numerai or die. #Numerai or die.
Buddy, it's your billboard. So we're going to put it on there. I'm going to tell Ant to put exactly what you said.
That is literally the most cited line from the Bhagavad Gita. You're talking about karma vadikarastu ma phaleshu kadachana, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So your billboard, my friend, Ant, let's get this right. We'll make sure that we quote you correctly and get that done just the way you want. That's what we've done for other people, and damn it, we're going to do it for you too.
That's the only book on my desk.
All right. Cool, man. So the next question's a little controversial. Doesn't have to be. But who's your favorite team member?
It has to be
Anson
NJ.
just leaned in.
She has helped me a lot. No, NJ.
NJ. Well, I was saying Anson's like all up in there waiting for it. But yeah, NJ. I think NJ's got a commanding lead. There's only 3 episodes left. I don't think it can be surmounted at this point. I might call the winner. I'm going to have to review my notes and see what the score is. But I think NJ's got a commanding lead. I don't know. I got to check. You guys can audit me because you're all data scientists and surely pulled the API in Zoom and figure out what was the vote tally, I would imagine. So, okay, Suraj, that's cool, man. NJ gets the vote. She probably helped you a lot with the Medium post. She helps everybody with Medium posts. She's the editor at large, I would say. That's great. So, Suraj, back to the tournament. What's your number one feature request or improvement for the tournament?
If you asked me yesterday, it would have been validation matrix suggestions, like more matrix and a suggestion that this could be up, this could be down. But I think it's in the pipeline, if I'm not wrong. So
it is.
My suggestion, it is. Yep. So next suggestion would be like something of a badges. I really love the compute badge on the dark background. It's like so beautiful and cool. So something like more badges, or if it's too big, then something like beautiful dots for name or profile. That would be like really cool thing.
Nice. I'm in. I like badges, like achievement badges.
Yep.
Like opening champagne on Zoom.
That's the only one.
I'll take credit for that one. Oh yeah, check out Zareli over there with his awesome hat. Yeah, I know. I don't have a flute. Okay, I'm like not that fancy. In fact, you're lucky I even put it in a glass. I was legit going to use a red Solo cup, and I thought, no, they're putting this on YouTube now. I can show a little bit of class, especially since I'm drinking French champagne. Just saying. So back to Suraj, because I'm clearly misbehaving today. Yeah. So Suraj, do you have 10 models now? Because I know you have 2 that are pretty high ranked.
There are 4. I just created one more after I got frustrated because of initial results of 223. And I kind of made a lot of change, like from ground up.
Okay, so you still have a lot of slots left.
Yep.
What's your plan there? Are you going to try to fill them out pretty soon, or are you just going to take your time and evaluate?
I think I should take some time. I have like 15 like primary experiments in my pipeline, in my list.
Nice.
But I don't think most of them would make it to the final model.
Okay. So over time, we'll see you in the leaderboard. So you're can't be much past 18, but I'm gonna ask this question anyway because I think it's fairly interesting. I'm kind of curious what a young person would say to their much younger self. But if you could go back in time and talk to yourself at 18 years old, what would you tell yourself?
There are a couple of things. The first thing would be start Numerai earlier, like start competing in Numerai earlier. And the second thing would be start that YouTube channel you've been dealing till now. And the third would be
YouTube channel.
Yep. And the third would be like take up your bag, go and roam length and breadth of India as much as you can. You will eventually make up 75% attendance. So don't worry about that.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, if you do decide to travel and you make it to Florida, look me up.
Yep.
Look me up. I definitely, anybody who comes to South Florida, because a lot of people do, they either come to Disney or they come to Miami. Hit me up. I can meet for lunch or something. That'd be cool. I know I'm in a tourist trap. Nobody can couch surf, though. I don't do that. That's like I'm a native Floridian. I don't fall for that joke. That's like total fake news. But get yourself a hotel. I will meet you for lunch or something. And it's totally cool. It's open invitation.
Maybe we can go for
Numerai participants, not the general internet. I'm looking at you, YouTube. That's right. So, Suraj, what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a data scientist? Because I think you've made it.
But I still don't consider myself a professional data scientist. But it's more like a philosophical one. For me, data science is like taking a peek to so many different fields through data. I initially was very interested into astrophysics, but didn't want to go deeper. But the data helps me.
Poor Rudy.
Explore. I didn't continue, but it's a way to peek to different fields.
Yeah.
And on the internet we have everything explained very clearly. So we don't need to be an expert in anything.
Well, Suraj, we're getting the remix version of that sentence, so I'm just going to fill in the gap there. I completely agree with you. You don't have to have specific domain knowledge to do basic data exploration. There's no special license for field-specific data sets. I'm just as qualified as Rudy to look at the basic data in astrophysics. Now, for me to make any calls or references or do research, that's questionable. Suraj, you're still on the remix version of your connection, so hopefully it stabilizes. But sorry, Suraj, you're still choppy there, my friend. But the good news is we made it all the way through the questions that I had for you. So, oh, yep, he dropped. Damn. Well, I'm really glad we made it to the end there. So, man, that sucks. I feel bad for Suraj. Well, so Slido. I guess we can do some questions, huh? Well, let me just check the Zoom chat real quick. No, we're good. Cool. So Jonathan used to have couch surfers in Cape Town, and it was stressful. Oh, Suraj is back. Welcome back. I was just saying that we finished all the questions anyway. So thank you for hopping on and taking my questions today. And congratulations on a good Medium article. We'll definitely put that out for you. I know the team's already promoted it, but I'll retweet it, and I'm sure some other folks will too. And then Jay was complaining about couch surfers in Cape Town. Yeah, I'm out, man. I'm out. Not down for that. Jeremy says he used to host couch surfers when he's living in Dubai. It was pretty stressful in hindsight. You know, I'm like a fuddy-duddy. I'm not down for strangers like touching my stuff, man.
Jonathan loved it. He loved meeting new people, and I would just come home from work and there'd be people on the couch.
Well, just go to a bar and talk to the person next to you. They don't have to come to your house. I'm just saying. I don't know. That's just me. Like I said, I'm a fuddy-duddy. Privileged white male. Yeah, so Slido. I think I'm supposed to talk about some Slido questions. Joe, IA_AI has a question. I'm actually gonna pass this one off. But which one is less wrong? Import torch as TF or import TensorFlow as torch? Now, I actually looked this up before I was gonna answer this question. And I was like, what in the world? Like, it's kind of awful all around. But JRB pinged me, and he's like, I have something to say about that. So JRB, take it away, my friend.
Oh, yeah, I said that they're both wrong. You should be doing import jax.numpy as NP.
Oh, you better put that in chat, my friend. Joe, you can't say it's just a joke. If you ask a question, I'm going to answer it, my friend. Now, I couldn't answer it because I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question. So JRB was clearly triggered by that question. So he wanted to pipe in and say what he thought about the question. So that's what's going on here. So it's not a joke. If it's in Slido, I take it very seriously. So they're both wrong. The right answer is import jax.numpy as NP. Boom.
I think TensorFlow is coming up with NumPy on TensorFlow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Twitter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
TF.experimental.numpy.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Whatever you guys say. I mean, look, I tell my students you can make a variable whatever you want. Just remember that I'm going to read it. If you don't want your professor reading something bad, then you probably shouldn't make it that way.
I think
one of my students didn't get the memo on the username, so their public username wasn't super cool, and he went back and he changed it. So, yeah, that happens.
That actually happened with me.
The same thing happened with you? You had an inappropriate username and you had to change it for your professor?
No way. It's for me.
All right.
No, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Go on with your bad self.
Yep.
Let's see. Anonymous has a question, and you know what? I want to know too. When Sorios? That is the question for which I don't have an answer. Although I did taunt Sorios in RocketChat today because we're withholding an answer that he asked in Slido until he appears. I guess don't hold your breath, but if you all would help in RocketChat by saying how much we would like to hear from Sorios, I would appreciate it. I think it's going to take a bit of harassment to have that happen.
He could be here already.
That's entirely true, and just under a pseudonym, or maybe it's Kunin. He's smiling ear to ear. It might be true. So Sorios, if you don't want to be assigned to a random user, come on and hang out, man. Or woman. Don't know. Just saying. Just hop on. We're friendly folk. I really like I gotta say this username. Notorious PUMP. Oh, where do you guys come up with this stuff? It's so good. Considering that we are in a different regime compared to last time this question was asked, are you and or the team happy with how MMC has turned out thus far? Let me take it first, and then maybe I'll get one of the team to help out. I do believe we're in a different regime because the results indicate that we've changed, right? We're seeing more burns, and they're kind of oscillating for different models. So I do think we're in a different regime. And even since I answered this question last time, it appears something's different. So MMC, I've staked, I actually don't know the actual tally, but I think I've staked 6 out of 10 on correlation and MMC. And I'm mostly happy with that choice. Only one of them is hurting me real bad right now on that decision. But overall, I think it's good. Again, I go back to the fact that it kind of depends on what everybody else is doing in order to capture MMC. So it's a little hit or miss, but I feel really good about it. So I'm sticking with it. I do have one model that I'm waiting to change over to correlation and MMC because I have a pending withdrawal. And the last time I did it, I had to cancel withdrawal in order to change stake. And that kind of sucked. So I didn't want to cancel it. So we'll see. That should happen soon. So now to the team. Are you happy with how MMC has turned out thus far?
Yeah, like I know we're happy with a lot more people using it now, at least. Yeah, like a ton of people are actually on it, which is cool to see. So it's a good thing. I'm actually happy with. I'm really happy with it overall. I don't think like the community is ever going to be like completely. Like it is such a hard. It is like a very hard competition. It's not easy to be consistently good at it unless you have something really like good and special.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be like some air of like confusion about why is it down or something. So that bothers me a bit, but other than that, I am happy with all the usage and how it's working out.
I mean, geez, just click staked, sort by MMC, and look at all the orange. Like a lot of people are staking on this thing, and then just flip over to rep, stay on staked, of course. Look at all the orange. I mean, practically the entire top 50 is doing correlation and MMC. I think it's a wild success. I don't see how you could say anything else. A lot of people with good models are using it, and I think that's a wonderful sign. So happy, yes. I think that the team is happy. It's an indication that we think our models are unique, right? So we're staking on the fact that we're betting that we have something unique. That's wonderful. It should absolutely translate to success with the meta model if it works as intended. Ceteris paribus, blah blah. All right, so I did that. Now see, now the question order is changing again. Damn it! Quit upvoting the questions. Kino, did you do that? I think you did it yourself. All right, so if I miss one, just hit me up. Let me know. All right, because it was when Sorios and then Notorious PUMP's question got bumped. Now I'm out of order, but whatever. Kino, what kind of leaderboard do we want / need once rep bonuses phase out? I don't know.
Yeah, like Slidefox, Anson like posted like a bunch of things on RocketChat, but like I don't know. I think it's like a combination of things. I think I don't know. What do you want? Like you don't care.
I don't know. Like whatever it is. Like I don't have any say in the matter. Like either my models are good at the whatever leaderboard they set up, or they aren't, and I'm not sure. I'll just try to go for the leaderboard at this point, especially with no rep bonus. I'm just going to build what I think is a good model, and fingers crossed it's good.
Yeah, my point is that we maybe have like 3 different leaderboards or like 4 different leaderboards. It's like, you know, for me the most important one is the one that like, you know, tells me how much I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
In comparison to everybody else. So that would be like a weekly one. And but then like, you know, there's like, you know, long term and midterm, there's also value in there. And then you also have to see like MMC and MMC plus correlation. So I don't know, like it so far it's like 4 or 5 like different leaderboards, but I don't know if that's what we want, or we just want like a single one, or like, you know.
Well, the way I look at sports, I don't believe in participation trophies. Okay. You're either first or you're last. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Now, I'm not first, and so I'm looking at my relative performance and claiming that I'm pretty good, right? But there can only be one leaderboard. That's my opinion. I think that there has to be one leaderboard that settles the argument once and for all. None of this sorting by or, stake weighted. No, you're either first or you're last. And I think that's what we need. That's what I would advocate for. And that's my opinion.
Yeah, but like, what do you want to, how do you want to calculate that leaderboard?
I don't think we should establish that. I think they should. I think the team should say, this is the leaderboard and this is what we think is the one true measure of success in the tournament. And that's totally up to them, because that, as it's been noted, I think in RocketChat a few times, if they set a leaderboard up, like for correlation, we're going to chase correlation. So if they find a measure that takes all this stuff and blends it together and they can score us on it, perfect.
Right. So my point is, like, it's like, why have a leaderboard that shows you something that you're not going to get paid for?
Well, I think there are intangibles. Now, this goes to Suraj's point about the badges, right? Because those are cool too, and they are bragging rights. But long-term performance in the leaderboard, I think, is meaningful, and I've encouraged my students to talk about participating in the tournament as something that's good. And I think this is a really good discussion. I do, because there are many facets to this that can be fleshed out. I don't have a good answer. I feel the way I feel, that there should be one measure and that should be it, and the team sets it. But, there's been a lot of discussion on it. I think it's all correct. I don't know. Like, if different time lengths, like you said, maybe you're really good this week, but, maybe over a 40-week span, it's not so good. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. But there should be just one leaderboard, whatever it is, that's what it should be. And the team should tell us what that metric is, and that's what should be the deciding factor.
How about something charitable? Like if Numerai had a charitable foundation of some amount or percentage of whatever, and if there was some pool of money,
Ooh,
and
I like it.
People who earned spots near the top or whatever could vote or control like who they wanted to contribute to some worthy cause or something like that.
Yeah,
so
the
it's sort of intangible, but it's not totally selfish, but it's kind of selfish in a I'd rather support cancer research as opposed to whatever type of thing. And it looks good for Numerai tournament to be supporting good causes, as long as people aren't sending it to Nazis or something.
Well, I think you just answered the question inherently with that. Somehow somebody's going to figure out a loophole and it's going to go somewhere where people are going to get pissed. And there's no perfect solution to it. But maybe if it was the Arbitrage Student Loan Fund, I'd buy into that fully. And yeah, you can definitely donate to my student loan fund and I will pay the taxes for you. Yeah, I would definitely do that. So just slide into my DMs, fam. Slide in my DMs. I'll hook you up with that routing number. So fast. You won't even believe it. That routing number, whoo, so fast. So yeah, again, good discussion. I think that it warrants a little more analysis. I want to see like what this whole future leaderboard might look like. Okay, so thank you, NJ, for closing voting, because now I can make sure I get all the questions. Anonymous, why can't we stake on our account instead of individual models? And well, let me try to interpret that. And it would be easier to be able to change the percent allocations to individual models. Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, we floated several of these kinds of ideas out before, but I don't know what the team's working on. So why don't we ask them? Hey, Slyfox, Anson, like, what are you guys working on for that kind of stuff?
I like the idea, but I think we're probably a little bit far away from it. So one particular thing, I think I've said this before, and it was like one question I had for Richard, which is like, why can't we blend the predictions for the users, right? But I think the key question here is like, if you want to have a blend of your models, it'd probably be better for you to blend it first, submit that, and then just stake on that. Because I don't want to be responsible for like, I don't know, accidentally blending it or like, not doing it correctly, like breaking ties and stuff like that. I think I want to give you maximum control. So that's like our short-term thing, which is just to give you the maximum control. I do see the idea, I do see the value of like kind of seeing your groups of models kind of like, I don't know, like a basket of things that you want to invest in and you want to have auto balancing. I think that is a neat idea. I do want to work on that, but I think that's not on our short-term product roadmap. I think we have some lower hanging fruit to improve on first, like just making the profile page better, making those, those diagnostic validation metrics better. Probably going to work on those first, but as we grow the team, I think we can probably invest more in like having more complicated staking structures. I think that would be cool, but not right now.
Okay. Hey, fair answer. NJ's right. I got the vapors. It's getting a little warm in this room. I think it's the bubbly. Where was I? So yeah. So do you foresee people going to use Numerai as their main source of income? Well, thankfully, I think Richard talked about that recently, and a link was shared in RocketChat. I've commented on this before. I see a future where that's possible. Maybe you do whatever you want. Maybe you study astrophysics during the week because you're passionate about it. Maybe it doesn't pay much. Look, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, maybe it doesn't pay what you would ideally like, but you're really passionate about it. But you do Numerai on the weekends and it makes up the difference. Maybe we need somebody to come up with a COVID-19 vaccine. It actually pays a lot to do that. But like, let's say in a world where it didn't pay a lot, you could do Numerai on the weekends. And your compound return was such that you're able to do just that. And you use compute. And so it's automatic. You don't even have to think about it. Like, I play golf on the weekends, and I know my models are going to get uploaded. It's not even a concern anymore. It just works. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah, so I think it's completely plausible that Numerai could be the main source of income if somebody chose that to be their life. Like, I work out 3 days a week and play golf once. And you know what? If that was all I did, I'd get pretty bored. So that's not really for me. I work because I enjoy the labor and the effort and the creativity that comes with it. But yeah, I think that there's definitely people that are going to do this part-time, full-time. And, I think the recent news helps a lot. That's about all I'm going to say on that, by the way.
I actually joined Numerai to make something so that I can not work and have an income eventually. So my goal is to eventually become a user so that I can just fully automate, have a little piece of program that just makes money for me. But I think we'll get there.
Build it first.
Build it first.
Build it first. We're getting there. It's definitely.
Yeah.
I can see it. Let's see here. So Anonymous is asking about the team. I'm going to actually pass to the team because I think they're more qualified to answer this question. But are Numerai employees allowed to actively participate in the tournament? Or are they allowed only to submit models created before hiring? So, who wants to take that one? Don't all rush. I'll pick somebody. I'll do it. I'll do it.
There's a few thoughts on this. So it used to be that they definitely couldn't because of the leaderboard, reputation bonus, and affecting other people. Now it's less clear that it affects other users. So there's not really a victim in letting employees participate actively. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We're kind of leaning towards just letting people participate.
I would say if the employees made all of the top 10, that would be problematic for me. But if it was dispersed kind of randomly, I wouldn't care. If it oscillated, if it was just totally spurious that sometimes team members were in the top 10, but predominantly they were all over the leaderboard. Yeah, that's clear that you don't have an edge. But if it became apparent that there was an edge, that might lead to problems. And I'm pretty sure most people here would agree with that. But yeah, if you're not impacting the reputation bonus, I don't care. It's no skin off my back. as long as it's not impacting my income.
I guess yeah. Like, what is the downside to having an edge though? Like, let's.
What's the downside to having an edge?
Yeah. Like for you, how does it affect you?
It looks bad.
Yeah.
Because you have access potentially to the test set, which we don't, et cetera, and new users will just think it's a scam. And it's
optics.
Basically it's not quite a conflict of interest because of what you just said, but it is bordering on the appearance of the conflict of interest. And so it's something you should think carefully about before you all dominate the top 10.
Yeah, it's the optics. Again, if you're not all in the top 10, I don't really care because clearly you don't have an advantage over the rest of us. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Yeah.
Just like going off like Will Muse, if they are the ones that are deciding how we get paid, then they can say, well, I'm gonna just design this thing so my model gets paid the most. So again, I have no evidence, but they have no evidence on the contrary, and that's the problem with optics.
Yeah, it can't be falsified. That's right, Kino. You've brought up a fair point. And that's the whole thing about preventing any kind of question of impropriety. And I think that's very to the point there. And I would agree. Yeah. No, I think that's pretty good.
Somebody posted a link to a Reddit chat from 2016 because of the coin market thing today. And there was just a bunch of people saying Numerai is a scam, it'll never work, and people shouldn't be spending time on this, they should be curing cancer. But some of the things were like that. They were like, I think they're just getting VC money and then they will pay themselves their own accounts in Bitcoin and nobody really will get paid and all that sort of things. And that's the sort of thing people think that are new. I mean, it has to look above board when you're new. Once you sort of get the feel of it, you can either decide it's legit or not. And I think it does to anybody participating. But, there is optics to attract new people.
How much does it change if like any internal like employee models like code was released so that anyone can like replicate the model?
That I'd be okay with because then now we have a chance to beat you. Yeah, so like if all of them were in the top 10 and we had all the code and all the steps to replicate it, I'd be okay with that because now I have a chance, right? Because I see what they did. They were doing this blah, blah, and this parameter and this, that, and the other. Oh, okay. I can buy into that. Or, ooh, I know for sure I can beat this because they're making this mistake, that mistake, and they're not treating for this and doing that. Yeah, that would be okay. I think that was the whole thing with the error boosting, right? Because that's supposed to be like the next best thing. So you release the code to show us that we can do better or not. Integration test was in the top 20 for a long time. It was really hard to beat it, but now a lot of people are beating it. So, I think that I would be okay with, but I don't speak for everybody. And I think that, deserves a larger discussion. Suraj says error boosting works. Yes, it does.
Think that they agree.
What's that?
Yep. I guess into Kino and Wiggle Muse also feel comforted by like source code release.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Like, I mean, I don't want both Mike Oliver and Mike Keith and whoever else is like staking that works at Numerai. It's like I don't want you to not do it. I just wanted to know what you're doing. Like say, like I want to see in the leaderboard that your account that you are like an employee of Numerai, and then I want to see your model. And under those circumstances, it would be great. But like, as I told Richard, ultimately, it's up to his lawyers to decide if this is going to be okay or not.
That's also true.
So, but yeah, I would.
I will say that my current top model, which is number 3 right now, was created before I joined. And it was basically just following directions in the tips and tricks notebook. Using nothing that anyone can't already do. So yeah, just read the directions.
Well, to your point, Michael Oliver, I think I've practically told everybody the literal model that I'm running. I've given out the actual code for part of it. I don't know how much more I have to divulge. And yeah, like come at me, bro. Like seriously though, like just pay attention. But it is hard though, because I don't have access to the data that you do. And even though I've divulged a lot of what I've done, voluntarily, mind you, people may still think that you have an edge because you have access to the data. But I know that you have not changed your model because you've said that repeatedly. I trust you. I've met you in person. I think you're a stand-up person, so I have no reason to doubt you at all. And as long as that model is in compute and you don't change it based on what you've learned at the fund to then become higher rank, I'm totally cool with it. I think it's fine. Yeah. I got to move on, guys, because we're going to run out of time.
Wait. Actually, can I say something?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is super great feedback. I agree there is like a optics thing here, but like I think if there was data that we had that we think would really, really improve a model's performance, the first thing we're going to do is give it to you guys.
That's true.
At the end of the day, the way our company makes money is when the predictions are correct as a whole, the meta model. It's not when Michael Oliver's model makes money in the payment system that just goes from my account to, the engineering account to his, you know what I mean? That doesn't make us money at all. So like, I agree there's optics. I really like what Mike said about like transparency, but I think at the end of the day, the incentives of this entire system is aligned such that like, we're trying to win together. There's nothing that we want to win from you. Thanks, great feedback, but I think we can work on this, but I think at the core of the issue, that's the way I see it. And also like in the past, we were super worried about like our employees taking away bonuses and all that from you. So we actually worked really hard. Like that was one of the things that like Mike P, when he joined, one of the things that we made sure we wanted to work on, which is that like our internal models was not taking up like leaderboards spots and like taking away your guys' payouts. I think like the high cap of staking is also like another move that we wanted to a move in that direction. So definitely hear you. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And Mike P and Carlo said something in chat. I'll just say it quickly. Mike P said, we'll make sure the transparency is all there and think we should have a Numerai employee badge and a link to the model code in the bio of the model. That solves a lot of the problems. I think it's a great idea. John Scaife thinks it's a great idea. You like it. That's good too. Carlo says, yes, I also think the Numerai employee badge would be great for transparency. And the whole thing is, remember, if anybody thinks that this is not above board, then many people think that this is not above board. It's the unseen people who visit and then disappear that will never have a chance to reach again. And those are the people I want to make sure that are completely satisfied that this is totally above board. And I'll do a lot to make sure that that's the case, personally and advocating on behalf of the user base as well. So great question. I'm glad we had that conversation. Let's take it to RocketChat in the forum and kind of clear everything up as we go. The sauce level is rising, folks, so I got to move on before we run into the wall here and I start getting ridiculous. All right, so let's see here. Oh, Mr. Scaife, how does Numerai analyze the ratio of rolling MMC rep? Is a model with rep 0.02 MMC 0.02 more desirable than rep 0.04 MMC 0.02 since the signal is pure MMC? I can't answer that, so I'm going to punt. I'll pick one of you guys. Don't make me do it. Somebody better. Sly Fox.
Mike.
Oh, the boss delegates. I like it.
I missed the question because I was chatting with Sly Fox. This is so unfair.
Oh, naughty, naughty. Very, very naughty. So you got to read John Scaife's question, because if I say it, I'm going to start slurring. Oh, you're probably not looking at Slido, are you? Oh, savages. All right, I'm going to do it.
I can read the question.
Oh, thank God.
Where's the Slido link?
Bailed out by Anson.
He sent me a Slido
Kino.
link. All right, Kino, ask it.
No, it's in chat now.
Do you want me to ask it?
Oh, okay.
Oh, good God. Can somebody just read the Zoom chat for fuck's sake? Woo!
Mike P, how does Numerai analyze the ratio of rolling MMC /
He's slurring. He's not even drinking.
He doesn't even drink at all.
Holy shit, we are completely foobar in this Zoom right now.
It's MMC / rep is impossible to say. Okay.
No, it's not. I did it.
Is a model with rep of 0.02 and MMC of 0.02 more desirable than a rep of 0.04 and MMC of 0.02 since the signal is pure MMC? I'm not sure I understand
he did it.
the question.
Woo!
Yeah, it's really more like core plus MMC is pretty close to like what the best model for us is. Because like there has like this cool trade-off property where like as you get a more unique model, then it allows you to get more MMC, but it also like makes it harder to get consistent correlations because like you're deviating from what everyone thinks is the right model. So yeah, core plus MMC like ends up having like a really balanced trade-off, and like that is how we would look at it. I would look at core plus MMC for what the best models are.
Training language models.
Are we satisfied, fam?
I think if you have those two models, I would suggest that you submit both of them. That would be best for us, I think.
Yeah, if they're different, I would too.
Yeah.
Unless they're like perfectly correlated, then I might choose the one that's higher. But they wouldn't be perfectly correlated. What am I saying? But either way, yeah, it's a balance. But yeah, if they're slightly different, I'd probably put both in, lean on the higher return. So leaderboard would make most sense as core plus MMC. Yep, that's what I was going to believe. Okay. 50 weeks, I agree. Like if we can go to 52, I'd like that too, you know, full year. I mean, what's 2 weeks after you've already gone 50? Just saying. All right. Let's see here. Anonymous, should I be afraid that when my model works well during this current regime, it no longer does when the regime changes? We won't know until we know, fam. Each regime should be completely different than the last because that's what a regime change is. Otherwise, we're not technically regime shifting. We're just oscillating around two different market states. I've just noticed if you treat the data, average across, do good cross validation, that you'll do well kind of regardless. Then again, I have oscillating to local minima. Yeah, you know, perhaps. I've just noticed that over time, doing a balanced approach, Occam's razor does really well. Rudy and I have very similar models. We've talked in RocketChat and direct message, and that's all I'm going to say, Rudy. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm a little sauced at this point, but I promise I won't divulge more than that. But we've come to the conclusion that we pretty much have very, very similar models. I've given him some commentary. I hope he takes my advice. But I think that if you keep your stuff stable, then you can do well all of the time. Don't try to stay in the top 10 all of the time because that's not feasible. Try to be in the top 100. And I think that can be done. And I have done that. I think now I'm coming up. If I can just last another 2 more months in the top 100, then I will have a full year in the top 100 with my main model. So it can be done. I should be able to make that based on the performance that we have now. So it can be done. So be balanced. If you're like rank is just surging right now, you're getting like plus 20 every day. Just you went from like 600 and now you're in the top 100 and you've been consistently submitting over 20 plus weeks. Yeah, you probably have an issue there where you're going to fall off just as fast as you rose. So try to find yourself in a band that's consistent through many eras and don't just surge all at once because what comes up must come down. Anonymous, how to filter out bad and good models early. What gives the least change? I think that's chance. What gives you the least change you overfitted? I'm going to go with, you meant to say chance. What is a bad model? I would say a bad model is one that's extremely volatile on the out of sample errors that you're judging. So if you have too much drawdown or too much variation week to week, that may not be a very good model. I would try to clamp the volatility of your correlation week to week. But it's really tough to say. You have 10 slots. I would say use them and try to gauge it as time goes on. If you're like Suraj and you take your time and evaluate, there's no reason you shouldn't submit and just not stake for many models. And give it a chance. Give it a chance on live data and see how it does. If the volatility is also very high in live data, it's probably not very good. Anonymous, where is the new talent in the leaderboard? Which models will dominate the leaderboard in the near and far future? I don't know. I was posting in RocketChat today that Arbitrage 3 has surged quite a bit, and it is now in the top 70 staked. That's a fairly new model for me. I started in 206 or 209. So if you count, oops, sorry, I bumped my mic. If you count that as like the new talent, because that's my 6th or 7th model, those people should start showing up now. If it's a top 100 model, it will show up now. And we'll see. I can't say. I can only speak for myself. If anybody else wants to chime in and talk about some of their newer stuff and how it's doing, I'd welcome the commentary. But we'll see. There's probably another week or two before they actually fully have 20 weeks in terms of unlocking all 10 models. Seeing no comments. Oh, and which models will dominate the leaderboard in the near and far? So near focus, probably models that handle the burns. Like my era boosting models are doing pretty good. So perhaps those types of models. The linear models are getting hammered. So HB has dropped significantly in the ranking, and I think that's indicative of a linear model. I'm guessing that HB is using a linear model. I'd love for him to come on so I could chat with him. But, timing's tough for him, I understand. And the last question by Anonymous, thank you. When do you interview yourself for office hours with myself, Arbitrage? Would love to hear your top 3 tips. I think I've kind of said my top 3 tips almost every week, but I would love to do it. I'm happy to. I think I'm going to have NJ special guest in a couple of weeks to do just that. I don't know if we'll do a happy hour or just do episode 1.
Happy hour. It's one hell of a quarter so far.
Oh, yes. It's one hell of a quarter, fam. And so like I said, that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, we could do that in what's that, 3 weeks time? 11's next week, 12's the week after. So yeah, 3 weeks time, we can do that.
You should interview yourself for the 100th episode.
The 100th. That's a far way out, man. The people.
That far.
The people. 100. Yeah, it is. Well, we'll be at 24 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
You have to have long-term thinking.
What about a half century?
That's 2 years from now.
No,
2 years.
You just need 25 more.
We should do a happy hour every time we hit a prime number. How about that?
We were doing it every 13th. We're just going to have a 13th episode.
And because I don't like 13, and also I'm doing 12. I'm doing quarterly seasons, I guess.
Yeah, we're in the season mode.
So we'll roll it when we roll between. We'll do it then, and I'll do it on because Kino got screwed. I still feel bad for Kino because he did it on the first happy hour. I mean, it was really fun, but your summary still is not out there. I don't think. I think we had to edit a lot out, and I think that's why it's still in production.
It's good. I'm happy it's hitting. I'm anonymous.
I'll check in with Anthony for the write-up.
I don't know, man. I feel bad. I do because everybody else has a write-up. It's been. I mean, seriously, it's been 11 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he did have a baby, so there's that.
Yeah, but, and we did have a COVID.
I'll check with him.
So no, I'm definitely willing to be interviewed. I just feel like I've kind of given out info as I go. But if you want, really, you want to just absolutely grill me on the questions, give me a little sauce, maybe I'll divulge a little bit more than I would otherwise. Like, yeah, whatever. I'll burn one numeraire on some bubbly and see how it goes. So no, I'm fine with that. And obviously, a lot of people hit me up in RocketChat and direct message. People chat with me in different mediums, and I answer any question I get. So, Kino, I would just say this. Cheers, mate. Yes. That's all I got. So, I hit all the questions, and it was really great hanging out with everybody. Suraj, thank you so much for joining today. Did we lose him again?
Thanks for having me. No, I'm there.
Say that again, please.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I can't see you, but that's okay.
Okay, no.
It's fine. You're good. I appreciate you hopping on. Good job with your Medium article. Congratulations, team.
Yep. And congratulations to you.
Everybody, congratulations.
Yeah.
It was another awesome week. Congratulations. So I'll see you guys in RocketChat, and we'll hang out next time. Adios.